piano actually mic'd or not? It's just coming off your mic?
Okay, Jimmy, we're rolling.
Is the piano coming off of his mic or my mic? Is that how it's?
Both of your mics.
Okay,
You're
good.
leaning in just a little bit to there. That's good.
Okay, we're rolling.
All right.
Nice way to spend a weekend.
Yeah, really. You made this move into the world of movie music. You just didn't want to be on the road anymore? You got tired of rock and roll?
No, the road's easier than doing movie music. The road's not. I always liked the road. I mean, there's no responsibility. You go in a hotel, you mess it up, and you leave, and you go to the next town. The road's the most fun of anything I do in some ways.
It's amazing that, you know, not that anybody in music can make a living, I think, because it's such a hard road and it's so difficult. But man, you've had a good 25-year run at least?
Yeah, at least, well, really since I've been 16, so it's about 35.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be able to make a living on
at
this?
16. It often surprises me, particularly the nature of the stuff that I've done. It surprises me that I've made the living that I've made. You know, not movie music, you get paid, and my movie music is more conventional, you know, and it's sort of mainstream. But the pop stuff I've done, it's really been odd.
How about Randy Newman, the performer himself, being in front of an audience?
Yeah.
If you're doing the movie music, that's kind of a private thing, working with an orchestra. I mean, it's a different kind of career.
Well, being in front of an orchestra is like having a great audience. You know, they laugh at all these obscure musical jokes. But being in front of an audience, I enjoy. I mean, it's when you're writing and you're all alone, there's nobody applauding. There's nothing but performing, and I usually do it myself. I can talk and just play my own stuff.
What song is, or is there a song, I know that all like your children, is there a favorite song of yours? I mean, one that's really, you know, your signature song? I know it's not Short People, but that's the one that was your biggest hit, Next to I Love L.A.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, I tend to like the things I did last. I like Happy Ending on the Faust record that I just did. It isn't the greatest song to do just on piano live. You know, a real old one like Think It's Gonna Rain. No, I don't love that. I'm trying to think. Some of the ballads on Faust, maybe. Hard to say.
It's always hard to someone to
it
pick
really
a favorite
is.
song
I
or
mean,
a painter to pick
can't
his favorite
tell.
painting.
You know, you can do it for other people. You know, I can say I love you just the way you are for Billy Joel, but I mean he probably would say something different. You know?
What's the thing that goes over if you do a concert? If we went out and did a concert today, what are they going to like the most?
Political science, maybe, or it depends on the town. You know, down south they like Rednecks and Kingfish, and in other parts of the country it's political science or I Want You to Hurt Like I Do, or Dixie Flyer.
Did you have to change a gear to try to write for animation? It's a little different thing, or is it just a story?
Just harder.
Harder, huh?
To do the score. The scoring is much more difficult, yeah, because it's animated. There's constant sort of activity, and the music has to reflect it. So you can't graze. You know, you can't just blah 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 blah. You always have to be alert and have something going on. It doesn't work if you don't do it that way.
Did you go back and study a lot of Daffy Duck cartoons or something to see what they were?
I've always watched them. They've always been part of my literature.
Now it can be told.
Yeah, but I'm not capable of what that guy did. I don't think anyone alive now is. No, Carl Stallings.
Those guys were very classical, weren't they?
They were just phenomenal. I mean, that stuff is really a miracle for all. I believe all film composers admire them immensely. But I did, you know, a fair simulation of it.
Is a lot of it underscoring, where you're just trying to not trying to be heard, but you're just trying to augment what's going on, or you're trying to?
You're always trying to augment what's going on, but I always expect to be heard a little. That naturally they want their dialogue heard, you know, so I got to get down under it. But it's meant to. It wouldn't exist without the picture. It's entirely meant to serve the picture. There's no. You have to subdue your ego at every turn. You know.
If you were having to give some advice to a young piano player, a young composer in Nashville today, what one thing have you learned that you would tell them to make sure you do before you take off on this job, your career?
Motion pictures, you ought to study. I mean, you have to know music. I believe it makes it go faster for you. If I'd studied harder, I could write more quickly, I believe. In terms of songwriting, the thing to do is to show up every day for it. I mean, it's to put in the hours like a job. I know a lot of writers write from an idea, and they have to have they get an idea in a car and they write. I've always found that I didn't get an idea unless I was trying to have one. And if you show up every day from 9 to 1, or you can only do songwriting 4 hours, maybe 5 hours is all I can do of that. Film thing I can do 14. But is to show up there every day and see if something happens. I would also advise them, something I haven't done but I'm going to do in the future, is to have an idea. I sit down with nothing in my head, absolutely nothing to write a song. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll make up an assignment for myself rather than that. And
But from the business aspect, that's a hard thing for an artist to do, is be a business person.
It's impossible. I would say don't sign anything without getting a lawyer. Make sure the lawyer you got's all right. If it gets to that point.
But you're not doing
It's
it for
hard
money
to
anyway,
know.
but
I
you really
don't
gotta watch
know.
yourself.
I don't know. There are good people in Nashville, and Nashville is the most song-oriented town in the world, where they'll notice if you got something. But if you think they're not noticing, go somewhere else. I mean, I think a lot of people should go to Nashville. A lot of people send me stuff, and it's stuff that is oriented toward people people in Nashville would notice that they've got something, but they might not notice otherwise, because the world has become less song-oriented, but Nashville stayed the same in that. I've stayed song-oriented. I mean, that's what I care about. The thing is just to keep at it, you know, and to show up even when you don't feel like it. Something good may happen.
Nice meeting you, Randy.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Appreciate it.
Take care.